Well, Sarah Burrows with Carolina Journal is with us on the program. And Sarah, this is a story that I have seen everywhere today. I think this has really hit a nerve with a lot of folks.
Yeah, I had no idea it would upset so many people, but I, as a parent, would be upset if my lunch were rejected.
Absolutely. So, I mean, this is a story out of Rayford, North Carolina. A preschooler there at West Hoke Elementary School basically was not allowed to eat the lunch that the child's mom packed because a state employee said it wasn't nutritious enough?
Yes. There is I guess we have maybe a state, I guess it's a state regulation that requires all pre-kindergarten programs, and that's a private preschool, public preschool, an in-home daycare center.
Mm-hmm.
All of these programs have to meet USDA guidelines with any food that they serve. And there are certain requirements for what they need for breakfast, what they need for snack, and what they need for lunch. And for lunch, they need a meat, a dairy, a fruit or vegetable, and a grain.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure why this particular lunch didn't qualify, and I spoke to the director of this Division of Child Development, which is with our state Department of Health and Human Services.
Right.
They're the one who enforced this. And she said that it sounded like it should have met the guidelines, but apparently this particular employee of the Health and Human Services Department didn't think that it did. I don't know if it was the potato chips that set him off or what, but it wasn't only this child's lunch. It was apparently, according to the parent,
Yeah.
and according to the teacher who spoke to the parent, every child in this preschool classroom who had a lunch from home was given a cafeteria tray instead because the inspector found something wrong with every single preschooler's sack lunch.
Uh-huh.
Now, the director of this program says that this particular inspector might have been confused about the requirement. She's not exactly sure why this particular lunch, which is the only one I know the contents of, was rejected, but apparently it happened to every student in the classroom.
You know, this is just bizarre to me, Sarah, because, you know, as I'm reading this story here, you know, the mom says, look, my kid doesn't like eating vegetables. I hate to tell the state of North Carolina that's really not an uncommon thing for children. And so the mom says, I never pack a veggie. You know, I make sure that my daughter eats her vegetables at home when I'm there to watch her and to make sure she's eating. If we have this, you know, the fact that we're even having this discussion, the fact that we actually have the food police going in and looking at lunch boxes to determine whether or not the parents have packed a nutritious and healthy lunch, I've got a problem with that, first of all. But secondly, even if you want to accept that the food police are here to stay, it sounds like, you know, this is so arbitrary. This is so vague. There are no real guidelines. There's no way that you know, a parent is going to know whether or not their lunch is going to meet with the state's approval. This just bothers me on so many different levels, Sarah.
Right. And so I asked the director of this Division of Child Development, what if they pack something that doesn't meet the guidelines and the parent says, you know, I don't care, this is what I want my child to eat. And she said, well, you know, if they send their kid with a Coke and a Twinkie, ultimately it's the parent's choice, but I would hope that the teacher would talk to the parent and educate the parent that that's not a very good choice for their child.
Right.
So apparently she wants teachers to be educating parents about what they should be feeding their children.
Oh, I think that's going to go over really well. So, I mean, well, I know that the mom in question talked with her state representative about this. Do you know, I mean, how long has this been going on in North Carolina? And do you think that this is this story is going to prompt some attention and maybe a spotlight on this issue of what, again, the food police checking lunch boxes.
Well, apparently this rule, this administrative state rule, has been in place for a few years now. But it must be something that they are starting to crack down on more. I mean, the principal of the school said that they were coming into the school to the Division of Child Development and Early Education was coming into the school to evaluate their pre-K program, their More at 4 program, and they were getting sort of a report card on how well they were doing at More at 4, and they lost points because so many children had lunches packed from home rather than the cafeteria lunches, and those lunches didn't meet the standards. So I think that the rule's been around for a while, but it seems that maybe there's more enforcement of the rule because, I mean, just in the emails that I've gotten today about the story, I've had several parents say we've had the same issue where the school is sending home a letter saying the lunch that you've packed for your preschooler doesn't meet USDA guidelines, and here's exactly what you need to pack for your child. So I don't know if there's this, I would have to check to see if this is something new that the schools are all starting to enforce.
Right.
But apparently the rule has been on the books for a while.
All right. Well, listen, Sarah, I appreciate you joining us on the program. I'm going to be following the Carolina Journal because this story just absolutely fascinates me, and I hope that you'll have more updates online in the days to come.
Oh, we will.
All right,
we'll
Sarah.
Have some follow-up on this.
Sarah, thanks again for coming on the program. Sarah Burrows from the Carolina Journal with us here tonight on Cam and Company.